Hi, welcome to today's program. You're with me, Funke, on Let's Be Real. The program you're about to watch is on relationship. It's the experience of a young lady, of the pitfalls she's gone through in relationship, the ups and downs, the pains and the agonies. And I pray that as you watch, you'll be encouraged. I pray that as you watch, you'll be able to take away positive things that will enhance your life. Enjoy. Whose responsibility is it to teach our children? Welcome to Let's Be Real. You're with me again, Funke, this day, because I don't know what time of the day you'll be watching this. And with me again, I have my dear beloved sister, Sister Ruki. Personal title I give her is Dr. Ruki. And please, if you do see her, do address her as Dr. Ruki, because a good name is better than silver or gold. So very soon, I know that will come to reality in your life. But to the serious stuff, we're actually here today to talk about her life. And I pray that as you share your experience with the viewers, that the Lord will let the scale fall off some people's eyes, some people's ears, and will bring a light maybe at the end of a very dark tunnel for some people. So let's move on, and I'll just hand over the reign onto her, and she will introduce herself, and then we'll take you from there. So you're welcome, Sister Ruki. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you. Yeah, my name is Sister Ruki. Dr. Ruki. I'm thinking I've learned so much from life. Life has taught me so much. So, you know, I've been to school, but life has taught me so much, you know, and with everything that I do right now, so it's life experience. So if you're going to give me a doctorate, base it on my life. You deserve it. My life experience.
Or life's experience.
Yeah. Okay. I work for the local council, but for the past 2 years, I have been blogging. I write a daily devotional, which just started really as me just writing things, studying the Bible for the first real time, not just opening to the book of Psalms to see where do you understand? So it was a time in my life where everything that could be shaken, you know, every single thing was just happening at the same time, and I was like, God, what are you up to? Which happens to be the name of the devotional. And then I started writing, and a lot of, because I'm writing from the heart, and a lot of experiences, so a lot of people were coming to me, and I found out that, oh wow, you know, there is a story out there. And I've said to God, like, I've also started running a ministry called Meeting by the Well, and it's based on the Samaritan woman by the well. And I've said during my how many years I've spent some time with the Lord discussing about the things I've been through, which hopefully we'll talk about. And I think I'm now being released to go and tell people, come and see what the Lord has done in your life. Has told me about my life and everything.
For the benefit of the people watching us, let me bring them back to why we're sitting down today and bringing this story to as many people as God would lead to watch it. Basically, you had the meeting of in December, Meeting by the Well, which I was opportune to come to, and there I heard a bit, not the whole, because I didn't come in at the beginning. And I heard her talking about her personal experience, your life experience, and how Meeting by the Well was birthed, and how you launched out, and what really brought that about. And what really moved me or touched me really was the fact that something that happened so far back as maybe secondary school now what can we say? It's only in the last few years really that you've been able to come out of it. Yeah. So we're talking of how many years? Over 20 years?
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years of chasing something that seems so elusive to you at the time. So, you know what? I'm not going to take too much time. I want you to give your story, if we can start at the beginning. So, you know, I don't want people to say, oh, yeah, but how did she get here?
Yeah.
So if you start at the beginning, you know, because I remember one thing that you said to me was, they always say, oh, Ruki's a good girl. Ruki's the good girl. Ruki's a good girl. But Ruki had other things going on when everybody was saying you're a good girl.
Yeah. I always start my program when I'm invited for events. I always start my program with my CV.
Okay.
I always like to start with my CV, and my CV is, you know, I've had two failed marriages actually. I've got 2 children from 2 different men, and they're not from the same, and they're not from any of the men
that you were married
to. So that's 4. So that's four men. And then if you count relationships, you understand, in between now and whatever. And to me, like I said in one of the meetings last week, they were all serious relationships, because to me, every relationship was a potential. That's why him as a potential man. Not many relationships, but they were really intense. So if you really want to count them as marriage, probably beat the woman by
the well. Who had 5 and was number about 6.
Yeah. I married my second husband in church, and I was so happy. You understand that things are turning, because I've had one series of broken relationships after the other. And when I married my second husband, it was like, okay, that's it. I'm doing it in church. I'm doing it the right way. There's no way it's going to happen.
But you know what? Let me take you back before we talk, because that seems to be the latter part of when the reality begins to dawn.
Yeah.
But your journey in life as a little girl growing up, I believe in what we call an ideal family. There's a mom, there's a dad, there's siblings. You know, how did this roller coaster of the first child, the second child, Ruki is a good girl, went from Ruki having a child and nobody knew she was pregnant in the house? How did that happen?
Yeah, I was going to start from my husband, from this marriage, and then go back
backwards,
there. But whichever way. I grew up in my country in Africa. I went to very good schools. You know, actually I was born here, and then at the age of 3 went back home. Went to really good schools here with him. But secondary school, actually, will I say secondary school? The house I grew up in, went as a child. You know, children are very you know, they say the meanest things to you.
Yes,
you know,
they do.
So the people used to laugh at me about the way I looked.
Really?
Do you understand? People
were
used
you
to...
big? Were you
I wasn't
too skinny?
Funny enough, I wasn't. I looked like my dad. People used to say, "Oh, pretty." You look at my face and you think, "Oh, she's pretty." But then they had to say, I look like my dad. I think when you came in, you asked me, "Who do you look like?" I look like my mom. But mom, I think she's pretty and everything. But I took after my dad, you know, with the broad shoulders, with the, you know, typical what the, culture would define as beauty.
What was there to make people pick at you?
Oh, God. Different things.
Okay.
Secondary school, they used to laugh at me and say, "Oh, I wish I had a bottle of Coca-Cola." You know, the Coca-Cola bottle.
Okay,
they used to say,
you were the shape upside down.
So meaning I had broad shoulders,
but skinny legs.
It's like and like that.
And that really used to hurt you.
You know, the funny thing is that you don't know how those things
hurt people
and stick. You know, because
their minds.
The devil starts to play with your mind very, very early, very, very early, and starts to tell you, because when you hear it from not just one person, different people. Secondary school, they gave me BBB, black or big belly. Black or, because it's very dark, big belly. Do you understand? BBB.
Wow.
Growing up in the compound where I used to live, my neighbors, there was this guy I really used to fancy, and they used to call me Flying Kiwi or Hoppy. That's because they said the back of my leg didn't touch the ground. So when so a lot of all of that, it's hard to build up in your head. And
but when they said it, did you smile? Did you cry?
Oh God,
or you walk away, or was there anything to give away that you weren't happy with the comments?
No, that's
At all.
I've gone from when I was young, I was very quiet. I could talk, you understand? I could talk anything, but things were personal. There were personal things that I wouldn't even talk about. Now people look at me and say, God, I can say everything. I can just say everything because I had to break out of it. You understand? And that's one of the things that happened to me when I had my first child, because I used to keep a lot of things within. So there were things I couldn't talk about. So right now, if you tell me if you sit with me in 5 minutes, you know everything about, everything about me. Yeah, I had that very, it was very low self-esteem, which came from everything. And it doesn't help when all the guys are chasing, certain girls, and you're just left there. You understand? And as you grow up, I grew up in a Christian family. You understand? Okay. But
yeah, when we say Christian family, we really have to define nowadays what Christian families are.
True.
What we thought was a Christian
family then. Yes. You understand? Because I didn't know anywhere. I went to church. I used to leave my parents behind. I was in choir then. I used to leave them behind if you're late. Let me go. But I had no idea. So I had no idea about what having a relationship was.
With God.
Was with God, which now I know that's where you get your identity and get everything. I'm writing a book, and I keep talking about David that talks about the fact that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And I keep thinking to myself, okay, did God make a mistake when he made me? I've had to deal with a lot of all of that. But the reason I brought this up is because I then felt, no man's gonna want you. Do you understand? And then when I had my first child, it was like, on top of everything.
But if you were not attractive and all the young men in the neighborhood were not looking at you.
Well, in school, the people that count that matter, then I have to be careful what I say on camera, because I'm still friends with my exes we keep. So I really have to be careful what I say, but all the bad boys in town then
were the attractive ones.
Were the ones that are attractive. And it wasn't even a case of, okay, I want to be with you, I love you. They will cheat. Will cheat on me. My daughter's dad. There was a time where I will be with him and a girl will come and I'll have to leave. And
you gladly
I would have to leave. Do you understand?
What do you mean you have to leave? Well, you will be asked to leave, or you will just...
Well, I'll be asked to leave. Can you please leave? Because someone, in a nice way, and I will think, okay, he's with me anyway. Do you understand? So he's like, you're doing me.
And you didn't see anything was wrong with it.
It was like, I could not give him what he wanted in terms of, this was somebody that was, not even... I probably sound prettier than her, but she could dress.
Okay.
She dressed more than me, and she could give him, money. Okay. Even at that age. Mm-hmm. And then that's where the good girl, bad girl comes in. The ones that we go out and sleep with other men and the sugar daddies. I didn't have any of that. Okay. I didn't have parents that gave me money because my parents were just average. Like I said, in one of the meetings, the only things I could do was fried rice. When we cook fried rice at home, I would take some.
And you go and give him.
Go and give to you.
Was he living on his own?
He was living on part and parcel with parents, and then at the time living on its own.
Because the reason I was wondering, if it's his parent, why would you want your food, basically?
Well, it depends. Again, it depends on the kind of home. It depends on the kind of homes. There are homes, and there are homes. So let's just leave it that way. So the way I saw myself kind of informed the kind of people I went with. I had my first daughter. I was pregnant, just finished secondary school. It's like, no, I couldn't.
What age would we say that is?
Probably 18. Okay. Because I had at 19, so I was pregnant at 18. At 18. Couldn't tell anybody. You understand? Because
Did you know?
Oh, I knew. Okay. After a while, you think, okay, my period here. And, that's when I thought prayer used to work.
Well, prayer does work. It just depends what you're asking for.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Prayer works for everything. It's like, okay, God, let this child go. It's like 1 month, 2 months, and, you do all the heavy
lifting.
Heavy
I
lifting
think
and
you even
heavy.
told
Oh,
me-
do we have to say that?
Yeah, you told me how you put the fridge.
Put a fridge on top of my stomach to think that, oh, the child will just, you understand? It's like, okay, I didn't want this child. How am I going to
Explain. Was it the fear of mom and dad are gonna know? Is it the fear of what everybody is gonna say? Is it the fact my life is ruined? Or a combination of everything?
I think combination of everything. Now when I think, I used to say I was naive, but now I just think I was stupid, because I don't know what would have happened if I'm going to tell my mom. Really do not know what would have happened. But I was just like, oh God, I cannot tell them this. And till the day I got and gave birth to my child, I actually was shocked, because I thought that pregnancy would disappear.
Wow.
I'm serious. I am
so
serious.
your tummy didn't swell?
It did swell, but with the first one, people look at you and think,
Maybe you're just gaining a few
weights. You start to learn all the tactics of wearing bigger clothes. You'll be surprised how sneaky you are and how smart you are when things like that happen. I've never been one to have many friends.
Okay.
I've never been one to have many friends. I've always been raised in a house where you are indoors. Even when you go out, you are monitored, because I had strictish, I wouldn't say very, very strict parents. So I really didn't have a lot of friends. I used to internalize a lot of things anyway, so I was like one of those people that strong. I don't want to ever let you know that I haven't got everything together. Do you understand? I don't know where it all came from. But the thing I know is that once I see young girls that are like me, I identify them immediately, and I've got a passion, and I've told quite a few. It's like, okay, I know how you are, I know how you think, the fact that your child is not talking. Mm-hmm. Start asking them, because that is, I look at you, I said, that's little rookie. I've always done that. I'm going to be all over the place, but just bring me back to where you want to accept. Yeah, so I had my first daughter.
At the age of 19.
Shocked.
When you went into labor,
I was in the house.
Was anybody at home?
Nobody was at home. I can't remember when my dad was at home, but my mom was on duty that morning. Went into labor. Wow. When she came back from work, it was like, she was shocked when I called her, because there's a certain stage you can hold the pain up to. I'm like, wow. She was like, this girl has killed me. Killed me. As a midwife, my mom is a midwife, and that even makes it worse for her, because my dad was like, how come? My dad did not believe that she did not know. It made it worse for her. I felt really sorry to put her in that state, but that just shows you how deep I was. There was a neighbor, their grandmom came to live with them. She knew.
She did?
She knew. You understand? This like, she knew. And those village women, they know these things. But somehow, it just shows you what can be going on in your own,
right underneath your nose, and no clue whatsoever. So here come this bouncy. Did you deliver at home? Were you taken?
No, she took me to the hospital. She didn't take me to the main hospital, because she works in one of the UBT. I think it was one of the teaching hospitals in Benin. She didn't take me because, oh God, my
daughter
colleagues
is having a baby.
So I went to one of the private ones there, and I was lucky. After that, God went straight into university, and they were happy. They were not happy, but they supported me. It's like, okay, this has happened, it's happened. There's nothing we can do about it.
No
but it's
point
not going
crying over
do you
spilled
understand?
milk.
It's not. We're not going to allow this
to stop you.
So I can't remember now. A few months I was in at university.
So you left the baby at home with grandma, and you went back to uni immediately.
Yeah.
So that would be on the assumption that obviously you did well in what would have been your WAEC at the time.
I did. I did.
So you did very well. So even though you're pregnant, you were still swatting hard at your papers.
Yeah, I was a brilliant in my from primary to secondary school. I was a third in the whole of that city. You understand? Wow. I was the third. The only time I made a mistake in secondary school was when my dad wanted me to read sciences.
Okay.
I was okay with the sciences. You understand?
Not comfortable.
But you understand, I will get like 50-something, 60-something in my sciences. I could read it to pass. But in my
other arts subjects,
economics, I was like acing 80-something. 90 something, you know. Last minute, I had to say, you know what? I'm okay there, but I can write my literature with my eyes closed. And I changed, you know, I dropped physics. Actually, did I drop physics? Or I think I didn't read for it and I got F9. But I think I had like 5 or so A's.
Okay.
In, you know, all this is and all the C's and all of that was in. And actually changed. I read, I changed. I wanted to read law then. I don't know why I thought I was going to read law. But somehow my dad found a way, because my dad wanted me to read medicine.
Okay. He
found a way to still change it. Because my dad was in the education system, in the system then. He went and spoke to the dean and they changed it. And I went and read, he put me to read botany. Even though I did, even though I did arts in my jam, you know, I still went in to read botany with the thing that I would change. Did. You know, it's like after the first year, you would change and go and read medicine.
Moved on to uni.
You know, with a course I'm totally not interested.
Lady, obviously, a lot of people at uni didn't know you had a little girl at home.
Nobody knew. So some people, so we passed her on as everybody else's child. My senior sister's child. It was like, you know, it was just a few people that really knew me. You know, really knew me, and it wasn't on day one. It was like, okay.
So you had this new start, so to say, at uni. So this is an opportunity to start all over again. And to be honest with you, looking at the African setting that a lot of us come from, the way your parents acted, you know, in that situation, I think we need to give them credit.
Definitely.
Knowing the background that a lot of us come from, in that kind of a situation, they still kept you, took you to the hospital, you did well in your exams, mom and dad were ready to take the baby, and they said, you know what, you've made a mistake, that's fine, move on. In fact, I think they deserve a round of applause. Because at that day, in those days and time, people like them were very few and far between.
But don't forget, my parents, they studied here. Do you understand? Well,
they might have been enlightened, but that didn't mean, you know, the stigma, the shame, and the fact that, like you said, they kept having to explain, we've got this young, so-so-so's baby, you know. But either way, they were there for you.
That's the thing.
They could have made life misery for you.
Definitely.
They could have said, sit at home, it's your mess, sort it out. But they didn't. So for that, I think
definitely
they deserve recognition. They did very well.
Definitely, and not just once.
Exactly. I mean, I don't want to jump the gun. So that's what I'm saying. Basically, they kind of said, okay, you've made this mistake. Glory be to God. We're moving on. You've got this brand new start in a brand new university. So what happened?
So now I was at uni. It was a different ball game altogether. In secondary school, I was in boarding house, so we're not free.
Okay. So now you're free.
We are free. You understand? It's like freedom. You know, you're not at home and everything. And then, there's this really nice looking, handsome, tall guy. And that was like, that did it for me. And he could just sing as well. And he swept me off
your feet.
Oh, yeah.
With his songs.
Oh. And then before I knew it again.
You were pregnant?
Again.
Was this in the first year, second year?
Oh, God. I think I managed to finish the first year.
You managed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I finished the first year. But it didn't stop me at all. I can't really remember when it was first year, but I know between first year and second year, I didn't tell that's the thing I missed. I didn't tell the guys either. I didn't tell my parents, so the guys either didn't know. So they, too, the same way, mommy and daddy were shocked. That's how they were shocked as well. So with baby daddy number 2, the same thing, you know, got pregnant.
So you continue with uni?
I continued with uni. I'm just trying to, identify patterns here, because first of all, I'll get pregnant, won't tell anybody, and then the relationship goes sour. That's when my eyes, it's like something will happen.
Do you tell the father to be, or you just keep quiet?
Just keep it to myself, nobody, just between me and God.
Wow.
between me and God. Second pregnancy, then I was a lot more bigger. You know, with your first one, you don't know, but with second one, so it was like everybody was like, oh, you put it on so much weight. And it's like, it's the food. But then I didn't go home. I did not go home. Any holiday.
You stayed behind?
I would either stay behind, or I had very close friends. I actually had my second child in my friend's house.
Really?
Yes.
Did she know?
She had no idea, and we were close.
Wow, you're somebody to be feared.
That was then. Now I talk. You know, then I talk. It's like, okay, how am I? Because even with this guy, I remember we used to live the flat we used to live in university. There was a lady that had like a restaurant that people, because I went to school in Ekpoma, so people that was traveling from Lagos kind of to what part of the other side of this, and they used to pass through.
Okay.
You know, used to pass through, and they used to stop at her restaurant, and you know, a lot of all these big guys, and you know, a lot of girls, like, okay, when they say, oh, I like that one, she will be like, nope, not that one. Give it so time, you see her boyfriend will soon come, and two of them, they will sit on the same chair. You know, so in their eyes, I was still a good girl, and this is why I said in one of the programs I did last week, you know, I'm thinking I'm a good girl, but by whose standards? Do you understand? By whose standards? Because even when I remember, I told him, you know, when everything happened, my friend, she was shocked. We were on, I think, one of these half-term breaks. I went to her house, and I was...
And you went into labor pain.
Oh my goodness, she was so confused. Her parents were confused, so they took me to a private clinic, and everything. I was like, oh my God, so God, you actually allowed the second one come again. Come again. I know she's looking at me, and look at your face. Yeah, that's how messed up I was.
So how did your parents find out?
Oh wow, I didn't see my parents this time around. I went to, you know, so after having the baby, my friend's parents, obviously they had to take me, you know, back. That was in Warri, in a city called Warri. They had to take me down back to Benin City. I was like, no, don't take me to my parents. I'll take me to my auntie's house. You know, so I stayed in my auntie's house for a month. You know,
with this brand new baby.
No
baby shopping.
Nothing.
No baby food.
Nothing.
They just drop you.
I think they
must have been shocked.
Oh, she was shocked, and it's like, okay, Ruki, where? How are you going to do this? How have you done? You know, again, you know. But somehow, again, this is where again you've got to applaud my parents, because my auntie had to go
and take you back home.
She didn't take me home. I didn't go home.
She just went and told them.
She went and told them, and they took the child
again.
Yes, and I went from there.
So they had this brown new baby, and another one that's just about 2 or 1.5 years.
2, yeah. There's 2-year gap between.
Dad didn't come pounding on the door.
What can I say? I'm a child of destiny.
Marriage number 1 didn't produce any child. Marriage number 2 did not produce any child. The only children that you have now were from those 2 pregnancies. Now imagine if you had aborted.
Marriage number 1.
Okay.
I got pregnant.
Okay.
But I had an abortion because I knew it was somebody I shouldn't be with.